It's fed the whole neighborhood. Fed the whole neighborhood. You see, it's
Come down to here.
see, it's our neighborhood here. 8 o'clock in the morning, I get up and start my rosary, my prime office, and all those things.
You have the sign.
The door is open. Anyone can walk in off the street.
Yeah.
My name is Father William E. Rao. You pronounce that Rao. It's German. And I've been a priest for 22 years. I'm an old man. I had state late vocation. And as time went by, I've washed my hands of the world. That doesn't mean I'm a recluse. It means I'm a hermit. I love the world. I love people. But there's so much wickedness out there. I'd rather just stay here and let people come to me in my little hermitage. So right now this room you see, right back here, is called the Hermitage.
Oh, we gotta get around the other side there.
It's about a 15 foot. You can see I have plenty of books here to read. Here's my little bed that I sleep in. I got a refrigerator. I got one of these things here, you time a microwave, and a little oven, toast onion. Boy, I'm in good shape. So I eat good. And I got all, it's good stuff here. This Our Lady Guadalupe tapestry came from Mexico. You can see there in the top there's a little hook. That was carried in processions in Mexico. That came from Father Graham Walters, who gave that to me. A whole bunch of other stuff, they all have a history behind it. I won't go into it all. Out there in the church we'll go to in just a minute. Before the Mass starts, I can turn this on. I have 4 speakers out there, so we have all kinds of good music before Mass. So people come in, pray, get ready to go to Mass. Hear it? And then when I get ready to go out to Mass, I turn that off. So, this is my hermitage, but it's also a place where we get together. We have this one table right here. Well, I can put out 2 more tables here, another table here. We can fit 30 people back here if we want to come back to have something to eat or have what the Protestants call a agape meal. That's in the Bible too, it's agape meal. So anyway, let's go out here now and look at the church. First of all, we got a real nice little bell here. Good sound to it. Hear it all over the place. You come out to Mass. You got some statues here. See that one? That one? That one? Those all come from Mexico. Then see that Our Lady of Fatima statue up there? That was used here in the Diocese of Wichita before we got real Novus Ordi. It was used in processions for Our Lady of Fatima. That statue right there, did you get it in there? Okay. That big crucifix there, it came from a convent down in Houston where they were putting up remodeling their convent, making it look real nice. They want to put a risen Jesus on their crucifix, on their cross. So they threw that one away. Went through about 3 different hands and finally got here to this church. This beautiful tabernacle up here. Beautiful. This tabernacle that holds Jesus weighs about 60 pounds. It's like a Chinese box. It's like one little screw. Once you do that, you can tear it all apart and just make up flat sheets of brass or polished brass, I guess it is. That came about from a big church in Tampa. They were remodeling that church in Tampa, making it into a real nice Novus Ordo prayer group, prayer place, community meal place. And we have some friends who are Franciscans. They are Novus Ordo, but they're sympathetic to us. And whenever they're transferred to a new place, the first thing you do is go get all the traditional stuff and send it to Bishop Pat. He sent that to me. It was all bent up and everything because they just threw it in the corner. How can people do that with holy things? Over the years, I've had people offer to buy one for me,
Yeah.
but that has sort of sentimental value to me because I just started the chapel. I had to put the sacrament
You
here.
gotta close up.
I need the
Go up there.
century lamp. It started my mind. It's sharp mind here, like a steel trap. I'm thinking about how am I going to build this altar lamp. So I go down to the hardware store and I get a flower pot, get some chain, get some few little odds and ends, go home, sit down, and spend 4 or 5, well, not that long, 3 or 4 hours, put it all together. Painted it the next day, hung it up, there it is. And Jesus is happy with it. The altar, there's a guy named Kurt Shoney, which is vice president of, what's the guy that run 10 books? What?
Thomas Nelson?
Who?
Nelson?
Thomas Nelson, yeah, Thomas Nelson. He was Vice President Thomas Nelson. So I read every one of 10 books before he went out of business. So I got to know them pretty well. So one day, I was going to be a priest, I was telling Tom Nelson, well, I got to find some place to get an altar and some stuff, just basic things I need. He said, oh, well, go see Kurt Shoney. That was his vice president, but he quit Thomas Nelson, quit 10 books. And he went around getting whenever they were remodeling a new overstored church, he grabbed the stuff, he got a big warehouse, and put all the stuff in there. And so I went up there and come back to an altar. I had a 71 Plymouth then. And he was loaded all the way to the top everywhere. I had an altar, I got a whole bunch of real good stuff that he gave me. And so that got me the little chapel started with the basic stuff. In fact, Kurt Shoney supplied those brothers down in Silver City. Abbott Anselm, I think his name is.
Cyprian.
Huh?
Cyprian.
Cyprian, yeah, Cyprian. A bunch of his stuff when he first started off, he got from Kurt Shoney. So that's where a lot of this stuff comes from. Oh, these beautiful altar cards here. Oh, real old. Got a whole bunch of other stuff. Oh, soundproofed. Did this all with my own hands. All soundproofed. Nice little thing to, what do you call it, Predie, something like that.
Pray do.
What?
Pray do.
Predu. And that's where I sit, of course, back there. And I'm always there half an hour before, well, actually about an hour before Mass on Sunday. And during the week, I did just on, someone wants to go to confession, they walk in the door. And 4 walls and a roof and a ceiling, that's it. I, with my own 2 hands, such a good carpenter I am. We built that wall, put the carpet down, built these things here. Look at these pews. Where do you think those come from?
Denver, Colorado.
How'd you know?
Because those are from St. Isidore's, and I was a pastor of that church, and I used to sleep in those pews. Yeah, it's
Well,
probably
did you
the
know?
one.
Did you
I know
know?
these pews very well. They came actually originally from Fort Collins, from a Protestant church in Fort Collins. They gave them to us, and then we put them in our church temporarily for about 10 years, and I used to sleep in them.
LaPont, Gary LaPont.
Oh, okay.
Well, his son moved out here to work with Boeing. He started coming to this church. Then we had just chairs here. In fact, see how this is set up here with these curtains? I used to be able, we could shut this all off, see, so the tabernacle was alone, and this could be open territory. We had chairs here, and at that time I had a bookstore, and I ordered my books from Thomas Nelson and other places. And so we could close this up, just make this up for a bookstore, and then Sundays just make it for all the kids to play around in. Well, John LaPont moved here from Colorado, and him and his father both good traditionalists, so they started talking about, oh, we know where some pews are, and
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
he made a deal, from what I understand, with you were going to send some kids up on a Boy Scout thing, and he said, okay, I'm going to help you pay for that if you let us have some pews. So he loaded up his
Yeah, my brother would have been the Boy Scout one. Anthony Pfeiffer, Tony Pfeiffer.
oh,
He
okay,
would have brought those out. But
so anyway, so he
Yeah.
brought them out here, and we brought it in here, and now we got pews. And I got some real good story about this. Oh, look at this. See this? This one and that one. That's Bishop Maycheck, who's a, you knew Bishop Maycheck?
No. Yes.
Yeah, okay. Well, we had a big thing out there in Washington D.C. with Maycheck's church before he became a traditionalist. So we went out there to his church. He was just getting ready to come over to the Bits Path. And when the meeting was over with, he had a whole bunch of stuff that were all traditional. And he said, all right, you guys take it whatever you want. So I built these. I'm such a good carpenter. See, but don't go like that. Every now and then I had some drunk woman come by here. She talked to me and goes like, right over. I was thinking about putting him down, but it's better this way I can move him back.
So you could take a look at those. Yes, they got the vinyl from the.
And we got the Stations of the Cross. You walk in this little chapel here, you are in a Catholic church. It's got everything you're supposed to be here. In fact, if I died tomorrow, a priest could just walk in that door, he wouldn't need anything but just what he's wearing. Everything's here. Everything's in abundance for a month or two, so he wouldn't need to buy candles or anything. It's all here. When I first became a priest, one of the first guys I was catechizing, I was teaching him about our catechism. I was teaching him about candles. I brought him out one day, teaching him about candles and religious things, sacramentals. And I said, well, here's how you light a candle, and here's what you do. And it's custom, just leave $1 there to pay for the candle. He hit the ceiling. He says, oh, right, money grubbing. Oh, I knew that. Everything you wanted was money from me. I've never asked anyone for a penny since then. You know what? Money always comes. Our little basket here. So he's right here. I never ask for money. We don't pass it around. Someone new comes in, no one says anything to them. Finally they go to ask some of the members, say, well, where do I get some money? Oh, over there in that basket. So I said, realize that things printed up here, put the money in, put it down there, and I get enough money to pay the rent and buy the food. If I have any extra, I give it to the poor. So, right here, this little manger scene, when we first started out, we had a little thing about this big. I fixed it up real good. It's just a real little manger scene. And then one of the people in the church got a new manger scene. She and her family brought all this in. So that's been with us ever since. It's a very good one too, for a little church like this. And all the Protestants, people walking out the street, they see this, they wonder what it is. Can you get this? Yes, any traditional woman knows that. But sometimes women come in, and there's a mass, they'll come in the first time, no one will say anything to them. But they'll notice everyone else is wearing a veil. Next time, maybe one of the women will go up and say, hey, you gotta go, let's put a veil on. After the third time, she still doesn't do it, then they tell me. And I come around and say, look, you can't come here unless you're gonna cut your head, you're a woman. Oh, I'm a woman. Well, yeah, you're a woman, you know. Then I explain to them why. A man takes his hat off. When you come up, and the priest come out to say the mass at the foot of the altar, what does he do? First thing he does, takes his hat off at giving place. That's what a man does. You notice most of the Spanish type of people, when they go into anywhere, they'll take their hat off. Now, why doesn't a woman have to do some kind of respect when she comes in front of authority, which is Jesus? Why does he get by with not putting a veil on? St. Paul says very clearly, a woman should cover her head in church. It says clearly. It's not a degrade. It's just a woman to cover her head. So when he walks in, I want her to come, I want her to be covered. But if I was trying to preach that Jesus loves you, and if you believe in Jesus, you're going to go to heaven. Now, if I would have that be my preaching, I could fill this place up 10 times over. But everything I just said there is true. Jesus does love us. And if we do believe in him, we'll go to heaven. But there's so many other things coming that if you believe in Jesus, then what? You got to do what he says. How do you figure what he says? Well, through tradition and scripture. Now, if you say, well, I read my Bible, I believe everything in it. Well, you can name 20 things right at the top of my head right now. What about when Jesus said you got to eat my flesh and drink my blood, and everybody left? And what about the keys of Peter? all these things. If you don't read those things, you just say, oh no, that doesn't mean that. You can't do that. If you read your Bible, read what it says. Read what it says, and you'll be fine. So, that's it.
Then
Go
we'll
back
just-
in.
Then go back in and we can close it out.